This is Yemen, where nearly half of the population go to bed hungry every night. Political instability in the country has impacted negatively on the economy. Another reason has been the global food crisis, where prices have surged over the recent years. This has caused millions of Yemeni people to enter extreme poverty.
Part of the problem lies in the banking system. In the UK, banks are making hundreds of millions of pounds by betting on the world's food crisis. This in turn is driving up the price of food and leaving millions of people around the world at risk of starvation.
Banks such as Barclays, one of the three key global players, have made around £500 million over the past 2 years on food speculation. Financial speculation on food almost doubled between 2006 and 2011. In July 2012, world food prices rose by 10%. 44 million people went hungry in the last year alone, on top of the nearly 1 billion people worldwide who don't have enough to eat.
If speculators think there's going to be a food shortage or something, then they will start buying the futures contracts and pushing up the price of the futures contracts. That also pulls up the actual price of the food with it. It's very difficult to control this because it's a free market that determines the prices.
Professor Keith Pilbeam, however, also believes it's not just the bankers who are the main cause of the food crisis.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are blaming the banks, but you can't blame them for everything. But I would actually blame the central bankers because what's happening is Ben Bernanke is printing a lot of money. You know, quantitative easing, but at the end of the day he is producing new dollars, and that means people distrust the dollar. Therefore they want more dollars for their commodities, and that of course hits people in poor nations.
A report published last year by Oxfam called for better regulation and transparency. They advised the UK and the EU to resist the banking lobby and to put in place new rules governing EU financial markets. But would the British Chancellor, George Osborne, take heed?
I think it's actually he won't listen at all, because from his viewpoint this is a free market, people determine the price in a free market. So I think it'd be very difficult to control this, because if we control it in London the business will go off somewhere else, you see, and of course he'd be very afraid of losing this futures business to another commodity exchange, for example in New York or Chicago.
With no clear indication that food speculation will be regulated in the next few years, the millions of people who struggle to buy food will have to suffer the consequences created by the self-interest of the rich. Hassan El-Khatib, Press TV, London.